fake cops in black vests kicked my front door at 2:11 a.m., splinters shooting across the floor. 3 guns aimed up my staircase like they owned the place. My wife stood on the landing in jeans and a plain t-shirt, steady as a mountain, both hands visible. Voice calm, like she was reading a recipe. Armed homeowner licensed to carry private property. Step back and drop your weapons. I was in the guest bathroom with my phone shaking and recording, wondering how a welcome basket turned into a battering ram in 6 months. You know what I mean. Rewind to the day we moved into Sagebrush Ridge in Cedar Mesa, Arizona. A neighborhood that looks like a screensaver. Pond ducks, pretty streetlights, the whole starter dream. I'm Jonah Rivera, an IT security guy, who just wanted less noise and a little yard. My wife is Mara. She said she was between ventures, and I didn't push. I figured she'd tell me when she felt like it. First knock on our door was Pamela Hargrove, HOA president, with a department store smile and a lemon loaf. She probably bought on sale. Her eyes did a quick inventory of our shoes, our couch, our faces. "We value our standards here," she said. And when she heard our last name, she leaned in Rivera. "Where are you folks from?" Originally, my wife smiled like a warning light and said, "El Paso, 4th generation. Where are your people from, Pamela?" And Pamela flushed, left the loaf, and walked off like she'd been dismissed by a teacher. I should have listened to that moment, but the boxes weren't even unpacked, and I wanted to believe in quiet. 7 days later. 7:02 a.m. on a Saturday, hard knocks like a drumline. I open up in boxers and a college t-shirt, and there's Pamela with a measuring tape and clipboard, like the villain from a stationery commercial. "Your rosemary hedge is 3 inches into common space regulation. 12.7, correct? This within 24 hours. Or fines will apply." I laughed because it felt like a prank. It's a plant. It grows, and she clicked her pen and said, "Rules are rules," with the confidence of someone who thinks the pen is a sword. We trimmed the hedge, thought that would be the end. Yeah, that happened. Then came the lawn height, a 1/4 inch over, $25 fine mailbox shade. Apparently, black isn't black enough. $50 fine, my car 2 degrees off parallel. $100 fine emails at all hours, about porch light, brightness, an unauthorized gathering because Mara's sister came over for tacos. One night, her husband Neil showed up at our back door, smelling like beer and regret. "I'm sorry about my wife," he whispered. "She gets focused on families she thinks don't belong. We've got debts." And he backed into the dark like a man afraid of his own shadow. Mara started documenting everything. Screenshots of emails, photos of notes on our door, a binder that looked like a college thesis. Then she added cameras and ran a clean cable through the attic to a recorder. I didn't even see it first. I thought she was being thorough in the garage. I caught her drawing from a holster. Smooth fast. Eyes steady. "Just staying sharp," she said. "You told me you did logistics," I said. And she smiled small. Logistics can be interesting. She sat in restaurants facing the exits, kept her right hip turned away from sight lines, checked window locks by touch every night, like she was memorizing the house by braille. Pamela took the harassment online, posted a video of Mara doing yoga in our open garage, captioned it, "Inappropriate, displays harming property values." The comments turned ugly. Fast. Go. "Back where you came from. Cartel money. All the classics." A county officer came out, glanced around, sighed, and said, "Document everything." Let me guess, HOA president named Pamela. It wasn't his first rodeo. Then arrived the Crown Vic with stick-on decals, HOA enforcement, and Pamela's nephew Chase, a wannabe with a budget tactical vest and a real Glock. He parked in front of our house for hours, like a lawn ornament. With delusions of authority, followed Mara on jogs, shined a flashlight into our windows, practiced the kind of swagger that only looks good in mirrors. He stopped Mara in our own driveway one afternoon, flashed a shiny badge he'd definitely bought online. HOA police, license and registration. She didn't blink. That's not a real badge move. Your car, before I call actual police impersonating an officer, is a felony. Chase, and the way she said his name knocked a little wind out of him. He backed off, but his eyes went hard. That night, Pamela ran an emergency HOA meeting about protecting families and community standards so aggressively, the words lost meaning. A neighbor asked for one specific crime, and Pamela snapped. If you have to ask, you're part of the problem. Then she smiled. Like that fixed it later. Neil showed up again, drunker. She's stealing from the HOA, he said. She owes money to people you don't want to owe. When you moved in, she thought you were a jackpot. Either force you out and buy cheap or squeeze a settlement then. He cried in our side yard and left. Mara watched all of it with that calm I was learning meant danger wasn't near. It was here. The text messages hit like grease on a stove. Your kind should find another place. And Mara said, we're moving from noise to threat. They'll show their pattern. She asked me if I could peek into their comms without leaving fingerprints. I secure systems for a living, which means I know what unsecured looks like. Chase was unsecured. So were his two buddies with security guard fantasies. Their chat threads had screenshots of our plates and our porch, Mara's jogging route, and then the kicker. Pamela promising $8,000 to handle the situation. Chase answered with gun emojis, because of course he did. I printed backed up encrypted filed. Mara nodded like a pilot running a checklist. The next afternoon, they boxed in our driveway with the fake patrol van. Pamela on the sidewalk with a clipboard smile. Chase at Mara's door. Step out for HOA inspection. Mara rolled the window down an inch. You're blocking my car. On private property. You're impersonating law enforcement. My husband is recording. I'm legally armed. Do not reach for your weapon, his buddy whispered. Don't punk out. We need the money. And that sentence traveled beautifully into my phone mic. Pamela felt the ground tilting and yanked them out of there. An hour later, my phone buzzed, Thursday. Be ready. We turned our home into a stage. 12 cameras, redundant cloud-rehearsed lines, and positions. Safe words, neighbor Marcus brought a pie and left with a floor plan in his head. He had the easy smile of a former Marine and the eyes of someone who still knew how to move. You need backup, I'm here. 2:00 a.m., exactly. We watched headlights go dark and shapes spill out like shadows. With boots, the ram cracked the door. They shouted, "Huh." Police down now and then. Silence, because Mara stepped into the frame at the top of the stairs and took the air out of the room. Stop, armed homeowner. You're on camera, weapons on the floor. Chase tried a speech that got smaller with every word. You're under arrest for threatening HOA officers, and Mara cut him clean. You're under arrest for being a costume last chance. The second guy lunged. She moved like water, sidestep, grab, twist down, knee on shoulder blade, voice low and steady, hands behind your back. And then she gave them the line that changed everything. My name is Major Mara Rivera. United States Army intelligence retired, and Chase cracked like glass. You could see the dark spreading down his pants. Even in night vision, he started begging, Pamela said. "You were illegal. I didn't know. Please don't shoot." "Zip ties in the kitchen," Mara called. I came out of the bathroom on shaking legs. Marcus slid in from his porch in pajama pants and a tactical posture. "Need backup, all secure. Call it in." He dialed a number from memory that wasn't 911. Real badges showed up, and the Three Stooges gave up everything. 8 grand texts. Screenshots who told who. To do what, and right then, a live feed popped on Marcus's tablet. Pamela's house on the far side of the neighborhood was burning like a confession. Evidence doesn't erase that way. But desperate people try. The feds arrived with charts and calm voices and looked at our binder like it was Christmas. The prosecutor asked Mara how long she'd been building the package, and she answered like a briefing. 5 months property. Turnover for minority families. 15 to 30%. Below market within 6 months. Fines as weapons. Falsified violations. That turn into liens. Shell companies that flip fast. Cedar Mesa flagged by our analytics. We moved in to document from inside. I turned and stared. "You bought this house on purpose," and she squeezed my hand. On intention, quiet lives are earned. Sometimes you remove noise before you get to keep the quiet. That's when I learned she founded a security company, Aegis Sentinel, and Marcus ran field ops. My hack handed them the keys to the ring. 9 states, dozens of HOAs. Millions skimmed from families who looked like easy targets. You feel angry and proud at the same time when your keyboard helps blow a door open like that. Yeah, that happened. 6 months later. The trial was standing room only. Our videos played on the news for weeks. Chase became a meme he'll wear forever, and a cautionary tale. I hope somebody hears as Pamela read her allocution like gravel in her mouth. Targeted families based on race, stole from the HOA. Paid her nephew to intimidate us. Took part in a multi-state scheme. The judge gave her 25 years and ordered restitution with properties seized and a training film built out of her confession. So every board in the state has to watch the truth out loud. Grace Nguyen bought Pamela's rebuilt house at fair value and turned the home office into an art room for her daughter. The HOA meetings take 5 minutes now. Budgets and tree trimming and block parties. Neighbors actually wave without checking what you parked in your driveway. Marcus opened a local office Neil did 6 months, and now volunteers with a nonprofit that helps families fight back. I don't know if forgiveness is a door or a window, but it needs air and time. He's trying that matters. Our rosemary hedge sits exactly 3 inches over the line on purpose, and I trim it with Carol next door, while Pixel, our mutt, snores like a tiny chainsaw on the porch. Mara still takes the seat with the view of the exits. Old habits. Good ones. And when I look at the stairs, where everything shifted, I feel lucky, not because we won a fight, because we turned a fight into a blueprint and handed it to people who needed one. So here's the part where I want you to jump in. Should private neighborhoods have the power to police anything beyond budgets and safety? Or is that a pipeline to petty tyrants with clipboards and cousins in fake vests? Have you seen a board do it right with integrity? Or watched fines turn into weapons and rules turn into knives? Tell me if Pamela deserved 25 or 50, if Chase is a lost cause or a lesson. If restitution ever really makes families whole or just fills a number while the hurt lingers at night. Hit like if you want more stories where bullies lose subscribe. If you believe justice is restitution and reform, not just headlines. And in the comments, share your line between order and oppression your HOA wins, or disaster's your own neighborhood story. I'll be there, reading every single one.